Mexican cheese rat. What about no offense and only defense for the first round? He's going hashtag Raiders. I think for the first round, I want at least one wide receiver, and I want, if Isaiah Simmons slides, I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Raiders would be smart, though, going at least one wide receiver and one defensive player. But make sure that you guys are using hashtag draft, okay? Use hashtag draft. All right, we got Jonathan, I was going to say Quiznos. Get a picture. Jalen Regan, I think it's Rieger. Wide receiver from TCU. Rager. I've heard some good things about him. He's not an option in the first round. The Raiders don't have any picks in the second round. He is very, very fast, though. So if we are looking for speed, if he's there potentially in the third round, sure. Good receiver out of TCU. Let's go to Casi Nova. 12th pick. Okay, so 12th pick. CeeDee Lamb and then Kenneth Murray. Sounds like a recent mock draft that we had. I like CeeDee Lamb at 12. Kenneth Murray is a good linebacker. I just think it's a little bit early at 19. That's my opinion. I'd rather go with another position. Let's go to King Higgins. What up, King? Make sure you guys are using hashtag draft. I'm losing my voice. Raiders should trade up from 12 to get Simmons and take a wide receiver with 19. So I think the only way that you get Simmons is if you give up 12 and 19. So if you want Isaiah Simmons, you give up 12 and 19. We don't get to keep 19 to go up and get Simmons. So if you want Isaiah Simmons a lot, who I love, then yes, you give up 12 and 19. Now, I want the Raiders to keep their pick, so let's go to Raider Nation for life. Everyone type Raider Nation for life. Do you think the Raiders should re-sign Delpit? Should sign Delpit if KJ doesn't re-sign? So you draft Delpit out of LSU, okay? Can't sign a player in the draft. I'm still a believer that the Raiders should bring back Carl Joseph. So, yes, when the Raiders drafted Joseph in 2016, he didn't live up to the hype right away. But over the last 2 seasons, I do think Carl Joseph stepped up. The injury is unfortunate. But I want the Raiders to re-sign Carl Joseph, who also, again, it is very important. When a player wants to be with the team, that's important. So I would rather the Raiders re-sign Carl Joseph. I like Delpit, but we can also go with some other positions in the draft. So, who here is going to the NFL draft? Is anyone going to Vegas? April 23rd to the 25th? Y for yes and for no. Are you going to the NFL draft? Y for yes, so King Higgins says Y. Joshua Carlos says I wish. So if you're going to the draft, if you type in your Y for yes, I'm going to give it maybe 2-3 Chucky heads right now that I'll be going to the draft and we'll be doing a party. I am trying to get a party together for the nation. So if you know anybody going to the draft, message me on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. We're trying to get something set up. Okay? So I want to party with y'all. So Y for yes and for no. Let's go to 559 Raider. Okay, hang on. How many picks do we have in the draft? So, all around picks in the draft. I know we have 5 picks in the top 100. So, we have 2 first-rounders, 3 third-rounders, a 4th, a 5th, and a 7th. 8 picks. Got it? Okay, 2 firsts, 3 thirds, 4th, a 5th, and a 7th. And then that's also, before comp picks. Let's go to Joshua Carlos. I've seen this meme everywhere. I don't get it. Joshua, interesting picture. Should we trade our second of our third round picks for a high second? 2 of our 3 picks. I actually don't think trading 2 third rounders for a high second is how it would work. You'd probably have to give up maybe a little bit more. But if it gets us in the second round, I will say this. If there is a player that does slide that the Raiders would like, you could see them maybe trade up at the, closer to the end of the second. Because we have, I believe it's 80, 81, and 90 are our third round picks. Let's go to Jonathan. What up, Jonathan? Get a pick. Is there any other wide receiver similar to Laviska Shenault? I don't know if you mean in the draft or an NFL comp. Laviska Shenault is a player out of Colorado who, if you just want to talk about upside, freak athlete, Laviska is a great athlete. I mean, Colorado, they've used him in special teams. They've used him in the running game. And yes, he can stretch the field. Big, tall, athletic receiver. I'll try to find an NFL comp for you. But off the top of my head right now, I've seen somebody say he's like a lesser version of a Julio Jones. If that helps you out a little bit, but most receivers are a lesser version of a Julio Jones. Let's go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, did you just change your name? I'm pretty sure you were Emmanuel NC, and now you're Emmanuel NAC. People are talking. What about running back in the third round and trade up one of our first rounders? I know the Raiders have been looking at a bigger running back, okay, because Josh got banged up a little bit. That's why they went out. They got Rod Smith. I think you need to figure out first, before you talk about drafting a running back, what you're going to do with Jalen Richard, what you're going to do with DeAndre Washington, if Isaiah Crowell is healthy or not. Once you answer those three questions, then we can talk about getting a running back in the third round and trade up for one of our first rounders. No, we have Josh Jacobs, the offensive rookie of the year. Let's go to Josh McBride. What up, dude? What about the Raiders drafting Nate Stanley from Iowa? So they're yelling at me 6th or 7th round for Nate Stanley. And Tom just yells, he's not good. So Josh, Tom's my guy. Harrison's my other guy. He's my side guy. Don't tell him. But both very, very good in the draft world. What going, Downey? At H. Harrison NFL? H. Graham NFL. We're doing it here. Nice. So the Super Bowl is just right around the corner. And I don't know what to do. So who do you dislike more? Type 4 for 49ers or Type C for Chiefs? Like, the more and more I'm thinking about it, Tom is not my boss, just so you know. So Type C for Chiefs or Type 4 for 49ers. Who do you dislike more? See, I'm seeing a lot of C for Chiefs. I get it. They're in our division. But Chiefs fans have actually been nicer to me than 49ers fans. Seeing a lot of 4s, seeing a lot of C's. The only reason why I'm asking is because I have to go to Bet DSI and I got to bet, and I need to know who to bet on for the Super Bowl. And if you guys want to bet on the Super Bowl, you want to bet on prop bets, there is one place to do it and one place only. That's at Bet DSI. If you don't want to bet on the Super Bowl, it's all good. You can also bet on NBA games as well. You got to go to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code Raiders120. It's going to get you 120% deposit bonus. Let's go to LA or Last Singer 95. What about 2 wide receivers in the first round? So, 2 things here. 1, get a picture. 2, I put this rumor out on the Raiders Report about a week and a half ago that I gave this one 2 Chucky heads on the Raiders drafting 2 wide receivers in the first round. You got to think about this. Quarterbacks, they're going to get taken high. I think it is almost a lock that 3 quarterbacks go in the top 10. What does that mean? That means other, I think, positions are going to start to get pushed down. You could see other teams potentially try to trade up. If Henry Ruggs, if Jerry Jeudy, and if CeeDee Lamb are there 12 and 19, you go out and get them. Now, I don't think CeeDee Lamb and I don't think Jerry Jeudy will be there at 19. Those guys will be at 12. But if you grab one of those wide receivers at 12 and then Henry Ruggs is available to you at 19, hell yeah, you take that in a heartbeat. Let's go to King Higgins. I think Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC would be a steal of a wide receiver in the third round. So I will say that wide receiver is extremely deep, okay? And anytime that you talk about extremely deep, like Justin Jefferson, for example, out of LSU, could be a receiver that could be there in the third round. Now, like, I don't think it's very likely, right? But I've seen crazier things happen. Like DK Metcalf, he went way late. All I'm saying is, like, people slide, things happen. But when the positions are super deep, maybe spending 2 first-rounders on a wide receiver at a position that is super deep, you could wait on a little bit. But Michael Pittman Jr. is not the, I should say, it's not the first time somebody's mentioned his name to me. Let's go to Sir Lister of Smeg. I don't know. How about we draft Javon Kinlaw at 12 and Laviska at 19? I feel more pressure from the inside will help mask out poor cornerback play. So I like Kinlaw a lot. I think he's got a great story out of South Carolina. Did very, very well at the Senior Bowl before he got, I think, injured his hamstring or something like that. I do like Javon Kinlaw a lot. The only issue is I don't think he fills a major need. He is a great player. There is no doubt. But, I mean, Jonathan Hankins, Mo Hurst, P.J. Hall, I thought they actually held it down pretty well for the Raiders last year. And then you got Cleveland and Crosby on the outside. I like Kinlaw, but I don't think it fills a major need. And my only concern with Laviska is the injuries. Like, super talented player, but the Raiders need guys that can stay on the field. I would rather have T. Higgins, Ruggs at 19 over Laviska, but it's a good question. So, if you guys love the Raiders, I want you to click subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. We'll get the link for you in the chat, so all you got to do is click on it. If it's tough to find, I get it. Sometimes I'm actually amazed on how many people tell me, Mitch, I can't find the red button. Can you just put it in there? Look at that. It's in there. So click the red button. Click the link in the chat. If you love the Raiders, we're going to be releasing videos the entire offseason, so don't miss anything. Let's go to Chris. Okay. Zach Bond be there in the third rounds. So will Zach Bond be there in the third round? Tom's doing this. Probably not. Let's go to Brian. What up, Brian? How did the Raiders lose their second round pick? They didn't really lose it. They traded it away. So, part of the Khalil Mack trade. Okay. Let's go to Brian, or Jeff, my bad. Should we draft 2 defensive players in the first round and sign Robbie Anderson in free agency? See, this is the thing, okay? What scares me about Las Vegas is that it's Las Vegas. What scares me about Robbie Anderson, he's Robbie Anderson. You combine the two, it just scares me. I hate math, but I can almost do that math. Robbie Anderson's going to cost $13, $14 million. I would rather be cheaper on wide receivers, draft solid wide receivers, and then if we want 2 defensive players, linebackers are our biggest need. Why not go out and get some linebackers in this year's free agency class who, in my opinion, the linebackers are very deep. Like, give me Corey Littleton. Give me Schobert. Give me, Van Noy from the Patriots. These are some options that you could look at. I would rather get him over Robbie Anderson. Now, BMW Santa Maria, they've been a sponsor here on the Raiders Report. They've been repping the nation. And all I'm trying to do is tell you this. If you need a car, if you need a question about car buying, I know it's a hassle. I've been doing it, okay? BMW of Santa Maria, call or text them. You see the number on screen. Ask for Matt and Rudy. Literally, anytime, any day, the Raider fans are going to help you all out. So if you have any car questions, hit up my guys at BMW of Santa Maria, Matt and Rudy. Let's go to Cayson Meyer. What do we need the most? So I guess you're asking, what's the Raiders' biggest need? For me, the Raiders' biggest need right now is linebacker, wide receiver, and then I'd probably go cornerback and then safety. I'll take safety off the list if they re-sign Carl Joseph. If they don't re-sign Carl Joseph, it becomes a bigger need. So for me, it's linebacker. Zach Lee says wide receiver. I do think wide receiver is a major need, but I'm not sure if the Raiders cut to hear Whitehead, if they decide to move on from Vontaze, if you don't bring back Will Compton, linebacker's very thin right now. Kicker, not a need. Mitch, do you think trading our 19th pick for a lower first round and second pick, as well as trade our 92nd pick to cover our pick? We lost to Pittsburgh because of FA being more picks. Hang on. Do you think trading our 19th for a lower first? Yeah, I get that. And second pick as well. I don't think that the math works out there, I think what you're trying to ask for. I want to hang on to both of our picks, okay? I want to hang on to both of our first-round picks. I think trading up, the idea of it, sure, right? Like, if there's a player that you really want, go for it. But I think if there's one thing that I learned last year is the Raiders, Mike Mayock, they're very good at being able to fill out their rookies that they go out and get. So I think holding on to our picks is the right way to do. Let's go to Samdaman B. Get a pick. How about Najee Harris in the third round? So I've talked about Najee Harris a little bit before on the Raiders Report. Again, this is the idea that the Raiders want a bigger running back from Alabama. Him and Josh used to be teammates. I know Josh has kind of advocated before to bring in Harris. I just think right now the Raiders are very they're okay set at running back. But the other thing, he's going back to Alabama. So maybe in 2021. Let's go to Victor. What up, Vic? 2 wide receivers is dumb. Shore up the defense. It's a huge problem. What's the best defensive player we can get at 19? Victor, how about this? I put out a video on my top 5 options that I would want the Raiders to draft at 19. I want you to check out that list. I analyze a lot of players, 5 of them. Check out the list, then hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. So, Victor, anybody else, if I missed any of your questions, okay, since this is a draft-related segment, I want you to DM me on Instagram, okay? Use hashtag draft in the DM. That way I know, because if I missed your questions, I'm sorry. There was a lot coming in. Now, I did have some people follow me on IG, and the reason why I tell you all to follow me on IG, I get to know you a little bit better, and I think that makes the show a little bit more fun, and I can also see personalities. So, Huero, Torres, Captain America _GT500, Pepperly33, get some posts. I saw you don't have any posts. And then Renzo Black. I don't know if you're a second cousin, third cousin. I'm not quite sure, but I want you guys to hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Give me a follow. Get to know me a little bit better. And if I missed any of your questions, use hashtag draft. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.